G'day TypeNtardis. Thank you very much for your reply to my last 3 videos. I actually released those over the last 3 weeks. I do about 1 video per week on Emergent Play and replies whenever I have something to say. One quick note regarding your response to several videos with 1 reply. Now I realize this is less work, however there are 2 things that you should really factor in here. First off, it's easier to digest a smaller video in response to 1 subject for your viewing audience. And second, you will probably get a larger viewing audience by making a reply specifically to a channel, because you'll have their viewers who are interested in that topic take an interest in you and possibly your channel as well. So first, with regards to your reply to my video about rules, you mentioned this being mostly a case of being about pacing and preparedness. So if I understand you correctly, you want to be able to use the mechanics to slow down the game in case people go off of a prepared path or go through your prepared material too quickly. And I have to wonder why you would want to ever use the mechanics to artificially slow down a game. Myself personally, I find games find their own pacing, and when something is truly important and really matters to the players, they will pause naturally for that moment in time. It will not be lost. Now, as we get into preparedness, this is an area we diverge entirely, and I don't think we're going to get anywhere in this discussion because I don't prepare for games. Most games I play don't allow the GM to, and the ones that do, they are a minimal amount of preparation. They're certainly not preparation in terms of where I expect the players to go or what will be laid out for them as they travel. Now, a really interesting thing to me that you said was being concerned with players feeling as though the GM is out to get them. And I actually see that from the opposite point of view. I see that if they are engaging the mechanics too much, it means that they know you're out to get them, because probability states that sooner or later they're going to fail a dice roll. It's like the classic situation where you have a stealthy character moving through an area, and if you ask for 1 stealth roll for the entire instance, then they have a decent chance of surviving. If you ask for repeated stealth rolls, you are fishing for a failure. Now, with regards to players feeling as though the world is out to get them, there are games that have an interesting take on this, and I'll tell you about Burning Wheel, Circles, and Amenity Clause. So in Burning Wheel, there is something that you have called Circles, which represents who you know. It's a great way to create an NPC as a player character if you simply need to have somebody who has a specific skill or knowledge or works in a specific building or whatever the case might be. So there's a certain way to determine how difficult that will be. You roll the dice. If you succeed, yes, you know the guy. If you succeed really well, you get to define specific features about him. If you fail, either you don't know them, or if the GM tells you, you know them, but they don't like you. And that is a great way to populate your world with enemies for your players. However, they're not going to feel as though you're out to get them because they're the one who decided to roll circles, they're the one that picked up the dice, and they're the one that failed. On to your reply to the role of the GM. And I found this absolutely fascinating because you thought the idea of having less power as a GM would be boring. So let's talk about lore arguments. I should start this off by saying I've never had one. Usually games that share narrative control will indicate who is driving at a specific time in terms of that. But also, whenever I've been at the table, people who have offered different suggestions in terms of the world around them are usually offering suggestions which can be taken or rejected. You indicated that you didn't see this as being a very immersive way to play, and I have to disagree with you there. First off, it's your character. Why shouldn't you know what your home looks like, who your friends are, and maybe even some knowledge that your character has about the world around them? In fact, I find it more immersive because now I get to have some say in the world around me. I know a little bit about what it's like because it came out of my head. I don't have to rely on somebody else for my entire vision. Now, one point I do agree with you on is that some players do want to play passively. They do want the world handed to them. And I'm not one of those people. A lot of people I play with are not like that at all. However, I will admit that it exists. Now, regarding what you were saying about your player, you needing to build up trust with your player who is questioning you about a lot of the roles that they were making during a game. Now, the way that I run games where I give players a lot of authority, I am actually giving them a huge amount of trust as I let them create the world around them and really add to my game as I build it and add to the story and create it with me. That is a massive amount of trust to give to your players, and in most experiences, I get it right back. So it's actually a very easy way to build trust. It doesn't sound like there's much to say on comfort zones. It seems like we agree on that. But I do want to say thank you for all the fine things that you've said about my videos, and I'm glad that it's gotten you thinking about your games. That is my ultimate goal. More than anything else, I want you to consider games in new ways and really explore what theory lies behind.